Good morning, Year 9, it's Mrs. Reed and welcome to today's English lesson. Today's lesson is all about revisiting and revising lots of the ideas that we've looked at over the course of this unit, looking at women in a patriarchal world. So I want you to start first of all with recapping what we've already covered. What can you recall? And let's start out with thinking about ornithological imagery. So that is bird imagery. Let's write number 1 in the margin of your page. And I want you to write down which bird would you use to symbolize power. Think about the text that we've read so far. Number 2, which bird would you use to symbolize powerlessness? So a lack of power. Number 3, can you write a line that uses ornithological imagery to symbolize freedom? Again, think about the birds that we've studied. What imagery would you need to show or to use to symbolize ideas of freedom? And number 4, can you write a line that uses ornithological imagery to symbolize entrapment? So what bird imagery would you use to suggest that somebody was trapped? Pause the video and complete tasks 1 to 4 now, please. Okay, let's go through and mark your answers. So number 1, to symbolize power, I would choose a bird such as an eagle, something that really is quite strong, but also kind of majestic, is a predator, a hunter. Number 2, to symbolize powerlessness, I need the image of a bird that really contrasts with the eagle. So I might choose a very common bird, something like a sparrow, something that's very tiny and perhaps weak in comparison. In order to symbolize freedom, I would use really any bird that is flying, a bird in flight, maybe a skylark, something that is singing and expressing its joy, for example. And to symbolize entrapment, this would be a bird in a cage, something that's being locked away and is unable to fly freely. Okay, as I mentioned, today's lesson is a recap lesson. So I have attached a copy of the knowledge organiser that you have in your exercise book. This is for you to be using today and revising the key terms and the big ideas that we have studied so far. These are the things that you will be assessed on in your lessons later this week. At the end of the video, I'll say more about how you can use your knowledge organiser to quiz yourself on some of the key ideas. All right, let's have a quick go at it. If we were in the lesson now, you'd be beating the teacher. So have a quick go. I want you to look at the grid. And for each one, you need to decide which of these is the key term it's referring to. So let's do the first one together. Number 1, a person having power over another person. So we need to say, is that an example of oppression, misogyny, ideology, or feminism? I'm going to count to 3, see if you can get the answer. 1, 2, 3. Okay, having power over another person, that would be evident in oppression. Okay, let's go for the next one. A way of thinking. 1, 2, 3. Well done if you said ideology. Okay, next one. Dislike or hatred towards women. Remember, you've got those 3 seconds to try and beat me here. 1, 2, 3. That was misogyny. Okay, next up. An imbalance in power. 1, 2, 3. Remember, you need to say it out loud or write it down. Okay, that would be oppression. Being treated differently because of your gender. 1, 2, 3. Okay, that would be misogyny. Okay, next. Prolonged cruel treatment of somebody. 1, 2, 3. Good, well done if you got oppression. Okay. A perfect place. 1, 2, 3. Okay. A perfect place we'd think of as a utopia. Next up, a feeling of being stuck or trapped physically or emotionally. 1, 2, 3. Okay, that wasn't on our list, was it? So well done if you worked out. That was entrapment. And finally then, equality between genders. 1, 2, 3. Good, that was feminism. Okay, so there's 3 words here for you to revise. Maybe try and give a definition first without looking at your knowledge organiser. Can you write down a definition for ideology, misogyny, and oppression? Pause the video and have a go at that now, please. Okay, at this point you can check your answers against those in your knowledge organiser and make sure you correct them if there are any that you got wrong. Okay, on to connotations. So one of the things you will be expected to do in your knowledge quiz and in English more generally is to write about the connotations of words in a text. Sometimes we are still using adjectives or concrete nouns to list those connotations. Remember, we recapped recently to say that connotations are thoughts or ideas associated with the words. Therefore, what they must be is an abstract noun. Let's do some practice of using abstract nouns. Remember, an abstract noun is the name of something that is not concrete, i.e. we can't physically touch it, okay? We can't even apply the different senses to it because it's an abstract, it's an idea. So abstract nouns include things like sadness and happiness, love and hatred. Okay, on your page please make a list of the words that are listed here, okay? Pure, pet, trapped, woman, innocent, rare, beautiful, powerful, and powerless. I want you to think about why these are not abstract nouns. So pause the video, write them down, and just have a think about why these are not currently abstract nouns. You can label them if you want to say what type of word they are instead. Off you go. Okay, let's go through this together. So we've got the word pure. Well, pure is currently an adjective, okay? We can't use it in its current form to talk about connotations. We need to really turn it into an abstract noun, so it would be better to say purity, okay? And when we've looked at women in some 19th century literature, we've talked about the way in which their innocence and purity is conveyed through language. Okay, let's have a look. We've now got the word pet. Well, a pet is a noun. It's not an abstract, it is a thing that we can see, yeah? I can physically see in front of me my dog, who is my pet. Next up, we have the word trapped. Do you know what kind of word class trapped is? It's not currently an abstract noun. It's a verb. So in order to change it into an abstract noun, Do you know what word we would use? Okay, it's one of the words from our knowledge organiser. We could talk about entrapment. Okay, look at the word woman. What type of word is woman? Okay, currently is being used as a noun. Okay, let's look at the word innocent. What type of word is it currently? Okay, this is an adjective. So we can't use innocent as an abstract noun, so we have to change the form of the word. Any suggestions on what we would change it to? Good. Innocence. See if you can do the same for the last 4 words. Can you turn them into abstract nouns? Okay, let's go through. We have the word rare, currently an adjective. Let's turn it into an abstract noun, rarity. Beautiful becomes beauty. Powerful becomes power. And powerless becomes powerlessness. Okay, so can we see here that the form of the word we use is really important when we're talking about connotations? One of the things you'll be assessed on in this unit is your reading. So you'll be given an extract and given some questions to answer. It's always really important that you're looking for implicit as well as explicit details. So you're looking at what further ideas might the writer be implying here. As it says at the top, not everything is as it seems. Let's look at this quote together. It says, "He was very careful and loving and hardly lets me stir without special direction." So let's think of this in the 19th century context. On a surface level, what is this woman saying about her husband? Let's look at the first bit. So complete the sentence. On a surface level, okay, the woman is saying what about her husband? Okay, let's dig a bit deeper. On a deeper level, what kinds of things are implied here? It says, he hardly lets me stir, to kind of move or make an action without special direction. If we give direction, we give like an instruction. So what is happening here? If he hardly lets her do anything without special direction, what is being suggested by the writer on a deeper level? So on a deeper level, the writer suggests. Pause the video and complete those 2 sentences now, please. Okay, remember you should be thinking about what ideas are conveyed about women's place in society. On the surface level, the writer seems to suggest that the husband really cares for his wife. He wants to look after and certainly appears to love her. However, on a deeper level, the writer suggests that the woman seems to be trapped, that she is unable to make her own decisions or to do things without being instructed to do so by her husband. So perhaps this is further evidence of oppression and women's entrapment. Okay, so I want you to think now a bit more about a modern context. Is feminism, okay, so feminism, make sure you're looking at your knowledge organiser and recapping the term. I want you to think, is this as important now as it was in the 19th century? Number 1, you need to support your idea, so give me some examples. Okay. Next, you need to challenge your thinking about this. So what might disagree with some of your examples? So if we were trying to include the counter argument, what might you say here? And finally, conclude. Overall, what's your opinion? Okay, pause the video and complete that task now, please. Okay, so looking forward then, first wave feminist critics sought to analyse the presentation of female characters and to recover literature written by female writers who were often excluded. So as we move forward to a time where women have gained more power, what do you think that feminists look for now? Think about some characters in popular literature or even in film. Let's take Katniss, for example, in The Hunger Games, or Hermione Granger in Harry Potter. How do these modern characters seem to challenge the 19th century ideology about femininity and about what it means to be a woman? Pause the video and jot down your ideas now. So, the new wave of feminism emerging from the 60s began to look at characters that went against and defied expectations, and they found that many great writers had already been subtly challenging the ideologies of the time, just as we've looked at in class. If you want to find out a little bit more about feminism in the 21st century, I would encourage you to watch the clip that is attached to this lesson. And again, go back to your notes, thinking about that question before. Is feminism as important now as it was in the 19th century? Add to your notes if you can. And finally, when you've done that, I would like you to go to your knowledge organiser, spend some time reading through, try to summarise some of the big ideas. Make sure you've got the words and definitions, and try to create for yourself 10 self-quiz questions based on this. So for example, you might say, what is one of the literary tropes we've studied? Or what does the term patriarchy mean? What is an ideology? Or even, which term refers to advocating for women's rights? So try to create for yourself, if you can, up to 10 quiz questions. Okay, thank you for listening. Have a good day.